Hey there, it's Anonymous Tea, where we spill the tea anonymously. Hello, 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 everyone. Hello, YouTubers. Hope you guys are all having an amazing day today, sending good vibes, sending positivity, sending blessings, and good energy to each and every single one of you. Thank you so much for tuning in. So today we are talking Love and Marriage Huntsville. You guys know why you were here. Today we're talking, is Carlos King using Melody Cherie Rogers to save Love and Marriage Huntsville once again, once more? It's a rhetorical question, but the answer, as you guys all know, is yes. What am I talking about? What has happened? What is going on, you guys? So after weeks, months, days, years, right? Seconds, minutes, hours, right? However you want to slice and dice it. There has been this smear campaign against Mel. There has been all these attempts to throw Mel off of her own show and all of the things, whether it is the cast ganging up on her, whether it is the emphasis on the mistress that has never made an appearance on the show, but is talked about ad nauseum on this show, whether it is utilizing Martell to band together the cast against Mel, whether it is Martell trying to quote-unquote expose Mel and try to label Mel a cheater and Mel all these things, trying to ambush all of Mel's events, trying to make Mel out to be the bad guy and all of these things, trying to utilize people's moms to bully Melody off the show, whether it is Tisha's mom, whether it is Stormy's mom. And now, although she has not confronted Mel, even Martell's mom is talking crazy about Mel because of, them not working out, right? And so, nonetheless, all of these attempts have failed. So, when all else has failed, what else is there to go in on, right? Because, Mel didn't stay with Martell. Mel divorced him. You can't use Mel and tell scenes anymore because there's a restraining order. Legally, they can't even film together because of his tomfoolery. And so, nonetheless, you have nothing else to do but to go after Mel supporters and Melometers, right? And so that was the direction that was given to the cast this season, to go after Mel and the Melometers, even come up with frivolous lawsuits to show how terrible and how awful the Melometers are, allegedly, and really put a negative spin on the support Mel is getting so that the casual fan that is not up on the social media games is going to think that the Melometers are psychopaths, that the Melometers need to be institutionalized, that the Melometers are crazy, right? And, completely compare them and elevate them to the levels of, Beyonce's Beehive, to Rihanna's Navy, to Meg Thee Stallion's Hotties, to Cardi B's Barty Game, to Nicki Minaj's Barbs, to Taylor Swift's Swifties, to elevate the Melometers on that same type of level, but then still throw shade at Mel's success, right? And try to lower her back down, but you elevate her back up by making these Melometers the focal point, right? And so we had, the lead-in, right? Because we knew this was going to happen. We saw the Instagram stories as filming was taking place this year, early in January, of Stormy throwing shots, of the cast entirely just throwing shots, throwing the chess pieces, having things to say about the Melometers, including Marceau's infamous live where he said he couldn't wait to see the ratings and blamed the low ratings on football and college football and the NFL, which wasn't even in season at the time, and said that whenever people said that the ratings were down, it was actually going up, and that the episodes that didn't feature Mel were actually the episodes that were the most watched, and that he was going to have a key, and all of these things, called the Melometers deplorables, and all of these things. Letitia's getting on camera saying that the Melometers look like, miserable older women, like just all of these things, right, that were single, that had no man, that had no job, that just are all obsessed with Mel. All of these narratives, you guys, all of this slander, all of this, tomfoolery, anything to say and defame Mel and her fans because you guys ran out of things to do and you guys refuse to tell your own truths and your own stories. But having the audacity to say the show's not edited or scripted, but you're literally scripting in advance
what you want to happen for the season, which is none of the cast to talk about themselves and to talk about Mel and the Melometers. Make it make sense. And so, because there was continued backlash, even though still in these weekly interviews with Dustin, there still was that emphasis to try to throw shade at Mel, to try to throw shade at the Melometers, to get those questions in, to still paint the false narrative, to still make it look like they're causing all these problems. They're out here camped out at people's houses, even though most of the Melometers don't even know where you guys live and have never been to Huntsville. But nonetheless, whatever, fantasy in your head that works, whatever fan fiction that works, whatever Wattpad story you come up with that works, that's what you convince yourself, and the talking points, right? So you have all of this, that people are harassing you, that people are attacking your business and attacking your marriage, that the Melometers are the reason that Black with a QUE got shut down, even though we know it's your fault that your own business got shut down, whether it was issues with your being not up to code, your liquor license expiring, issues with your parking permits, issues with all types of things that had to be, assessed, and the government officials of your town had to shut you down. So again, what Melometer is responsible for all of that? When your own peers, your own fellow business people in your own, development area had complaints about you. That has nothing to do with the Melometers, but then you still got on social media, and even your mom and mom-in-law got on social media and said Black with a QUE is not closed, and that it is open for business, you guys. Even though we saw in the episode that Black with a QUE was shut down indefinitely, right? So nonetheless, it's all of the lies, it's all of the semantics, and now that the ratings have been in the toilet all season, even when Carlos King tried to lie to the people and play semantics and try to allege that these linear L3 ratings of 3.1 million in the demo was higher than the ratings of Married to Medicine on Bravo, featuring Dr. Heavenly as one of the main cast members, and it flopped miserably, you guys. It flopped miserably, even trying to con the people last week into thinking that you just got approved as a new deal with Max to stream all of the seasons of Love and Marriage Huntsville, you guys, when that has been in place since last summer. But again, because nobody is streaming, because nobody is watching the show, because of the blackout, because of the mistreatment of Melody Cherie Rogers and everything else, and the cast refusing to have a storyline, now all of a sudden you're trying to garner interest, you're trying to garner viewership again, right? And so what happens now? We find out the show is still filming the back half of the season. You've alluded to a reunion taping that is going to be coming up soon. And there we have it. We have, what was supposed to be a canceled Melocon of sorts. We have another Mimosas with Mel. This time it's filmed, though, because the first one that aired earlier this year that was taking place for the fundraiser for Hill Harper, there was no Love and Marriage Huntsville cameras around. There was no Love and Marriage Huntsville cast members that were around. And so this time around, Carlos King, just like he did in January for the podcast event, had to call Mel and say, Mel, we've got to promote this show. We've got to get this show back on track. This is your baby. This is your brainchild. We've got to all come together and work together to make sure that the show stays on OWN. We are at risk of cancellation. We are at risk of being removed from Max and other streaming platforms. We need you to clock in for us. We need you to give us an event. We need you to put an event together as quickly as possible so that we can hurry up and film it and have it air towards the end of the second half of the season leading into the reunion. So that way we can get some content, we can get a decent storyline, and we'll have some of the cast show up, right? And so nonetheless, in comes, Mimosas with Mel, right? She puts together in record time, keynote speakers, VIP guests, has a complete theme of the women to be dressed in pink and the men to be dressed in black, and all of these things have everything organized down to the T, you guys, and having people, sign non-disclosures, whether or not they're agreeing to be filmed or whatever for the show, and everybody does their thing, right? Everybody does their thing, and now all of a sudden, you guys, it's back to promoting the show. It's back to releasing a clip, you guys, on Monday. Mind you, this clip came out Monday. The previous video I just uploaded, that clip came out on a Monday, you guys, which never happens to promote Love and Marriage Huntsville. Usually the clips start rolling in for the upcoming episode, usually starts rolling in Wednesdays and Thursdays, you guys. So the fact that there was already a clip, and not just any clip of Love and Marriage Huntsville, but a clip featuring none other than Melody Cherie Rogers, again, to attract the Mel supporters and the Melometers so that they can be like, I'm tuning in for Mel, I'm tuning in to support Mel, I'm tuning in because Mel is going to be a part of this episode to try to get those ratings back up, you guys. But I'm telling you, are you going to fall for this? Are you going to take the bait, you guys? But it's clear as day what the agenda is, right? It's clear as day that this is panic mode, that this is, hey, we are in the last of days. This is the last-ditch effort for the show to come back together, for the show to come back on track. We are sorry that I don't even know if an apology happened, but we're sorry that, we tried to slander the Melometers and Mel supporters. They're the backbone of the show. They're the reasons the ratings go up if they tune in. They are the reasons if the ratings are in the toilet for tuning out and blacking out, you guys. But nonetheless, that is where we are. Now all of a sudden it's a Mel fest again. And I'm sure they're still trying to desperately convince Mel to do some interviews now, right? They're desperately trying to convince her, hey, can you please promote the show? Can you please do another interview with Dr. Heavenly? Can you please do an interview with Dustin? Can you please do another interview with Carlos King? Can you please do an Instagram live with Carlos King? Can you come on Dis Nation with Carlos King and promote Love and Marriage Huntsville like you've never promoted it before, you guys? That's what their dream is. Because everything else is backfiring. These interviews are backfiring. These recap shows, the pre-recorded recap shows with Dr. Heavenly is backfiring. More people are tuning in to your interviews than they are the show. More people are tuning into Messy Mondays than they are your actual show, Carlos. But you wanted to be the blogger, right? Not realizing that your raindrops are not transferring to the own network. They're not transferring to watch your own shows. Pun intended. So nonetheless, you have to do the most. You have to put banners. Love and Marriage Huntsville is going to be back this week. Please tune in. The ratings are hidden for your other show, for the Family Empire Houston. They are nowhere to be found. They are either completely out of the top 250 cable programming shows, or they are just flat out hidden as far as we are concerned, right? But nonetheless, you are putting in the extra kick in the pants, but you still will not publicly acknowledge or celebrate or promote Melody Cherie Rogers. But it is clear behind the scenes, a call was made that Mel had to clock in to save the show once again, to save the season once again. We started off with Mel and the podcast, and we're going to end the season with Mel and the Mimosas with Mel event, because that is what you need, Carlos. And now all of a sudden all these Mel scenes are going to appear on a Monday, mind you, to promote the latest episode. So there is that. Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments. Please do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you're notified the moment I post new content on my channel. And with that being said, I'll talk to you guys again very soon.